My name is Daz. I was born and raised down in Tacoma, Washington, and back in '76. Um, yeah. So, what do you want to know? Like, as far as what my upbringing, or
Yeah, tell me
all
about your
that?
home
Okay.
life. Who raised you?
My parents, both my parents, you know, what I'm saying they've been married, or they're married for 50 years, I think it is. Um, and there were seven of us, so we had a big family.
Where were you?
I was the middle. I was in the middle child. I'm looking for attention. The youngest of the boys, and I had couple sisters below me. Um, but hand-me-downs and things like that are something that I was used to and got. Both my parents. My dad was working first. Yeah, he started off as a fireman, then worked at the shipyard. Made decent money, but had seven of us, and so until my mom went to work, she went to work as she's a nurse. Um, so things are tight. Money was tight. Uh, Parents are both at work all the time, so we kind of raised ourselves a little bit on some things, and so. But I think that all this comes together. Any kind of bad things that I think of, or sad times, is what made me now. I feel like I'm very, you know, grateful individual, through all these things that I've gone through. And so I've got to taste what college life is going to like, what I'm saying? Got a full ride basketball scholarship to go to school. And then I know what it's like to be on the other side too as well, being homeless. And so, but yeah.
Well, let's get there in a second. I'm curious when you guys were kids,
Yeah.
because you were like an '80s kid.
I was born in '70.
Oh, 1970.
Yeah, but I'm an '80s kid, yeah.
Well, yeah. So let's see, in '85. Oh yeah, man, 15 and in '85. What
Uh,
were you guys doing for fun?
Mostly, I was like, so 85, that would have made me 9. Um, we did everything that we kids did. We played. We climbed trees. I can't believe it. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. It's like we actually had rock fights. I mean, we were sitting there throwing rocks at each other, and that was fun.
Yeah.
And we didn't care if we get hit, and we'd ride our bikes, from the top of the hill down to the bottom of the hill, which was on Hilltop. And so Wright Park was down at the bottom, and we would ride to the park. And we chose to go swimming in the pool down there with all the other kids. And so, but that was pretty much what it was. My parents were raised in church, or brought us up in church. So we had a lot of church that we had to attend growing up. And so the youth group on Tuesday, choir rehearsal, Friday night service, Sunday 2 times. And so sports or anything like that wasn't really incorporated or anything like that. We didn't so much seek after that too much. But I'm so tall now, I'm 6'10". I finally went out for basketball my senior year. I went out and then made the team, of course. And I remember telling my dad, it's like, we had games every Friday. And I was like, hey, Dad, I got a basketball game tonight on Friday. And Friday night service runs that night. He says, oh, no, you're not missing church. And so I kind of was like, what? Kind of like, he said, he didn't understand that, the whole thing of me having a new, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like a hobby or something?
Not hobby, but, to dedicate myself to.
Yeah.
Something else to dedicate my
Goal,
life to. Yeah, what I'm saying, which is
right.
Basketball and be doing that or whatever it is. And so he just didn't understand. He didn't understand that part, And so,
But eventually, cause some friction.
Yeah, my mom talked to him and stuff like that, and so I was allowed to go ahead and play basketball. And so yeah, that was pretty much it. School was difficult for me because of the fact that I remember my mom had a meeting with my counselor, 9th grade, and I think the counselor said that he tests when he takes his test. He tests, he's good, but in class wasn't doing too good. And my mom's like, yeah, because he needs attention. And the teacher's like, no, it's because doesn't interest him. He's not interested in that. And she's like, your son's kind of a dreamer. He's a wanderer. You know, his kids are in the clouds, and you know, certain things motivate him. And you know, if you hear him say something about like, you know, math or whatever it is, it's like, what do I need math for in life? As, you know, past a certain, you know, math level, whatever it is, it's like, you know, what is that going to do for me? What I want to do? I said, so I don't know why I have to take it. You know, and that was.
But
my
you
hope.
remember thinking this?
I
as
remember
a kid?
thinking that. I remember
Those are like
conversations.
bigger questions. Those
Yeah.
are like out of because a lot of kids are just, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm doing school. But you're thinking a little bit outside the box.
I'm thinking like I was just thinking that like I know that when what I wanted to do at first was I wanted to go and work in the community and work with the youth. That was what I felt my thing was to do. When I went to college, I started majoring in community health, and then eventually I switched over to accounting. And telling somebody, you know, go from, you know, writing down the signs of coping or for loss, you know what I'm saying, and to debits and credits, you know, and stuff like that. It's kind of a huge change, a switch over. And I think what made me go over to accounting was the money, you know what I'm saying, that as opposed to being service and to people, to be able to make more money, you know what I'm saying, or you're doing that. And so
and still playing ball?
no, at this time, no, I'm done playing basketball. I was done. 'Cause I only played, you know, that wasn't my.
Oh, just
Yeah, I was in band. I was in music. I played trombone. You know, I started playing music. Or it was in band at fifth grade, and went all through junior high and through college or through high school. You know, played trombone.
Jazz band or marching band?
Marching band and things and such. You know, so. That's my thing. I learned how to read music, and then you know, we always grew up with a piano in our house.
Yeah,
my dad and mom sang all the time.
You play in church too?
In church, I was a choir, sang.
Gotcha.
So music was a big, huge part. And of course, like, you know, and not dirty dancing, but Footloose. You know, there was that whole thing of you don't listen to this kind of a music or this kind of music or whatever it is. So we had to listen to uplifting.
If you don't mind me asking, was it like a offshoot of Christianity?
It was.
Okay.
I went to Pentecostal.
Okay, so
it was a Church of God in Christ, you know, and did that. And so.
And there was.
What's that?
Was it pretty? I guess the word is that I want to say is oppressive.
It was intense.
Intense. That's another word.
I was kind of like a black sheep, though. When it came to church, I would go upstairs into the room, you know, school rooms up in the church, and I would fall asleep. I'd go to sleep. I felt that there was a lot of church that was put on us, and at the time I thought it was bad. I mean, not bad, but I just didn't. It wasn't, you know, I didn't know a lot of things. And so I didn't know that all this, what I'm saying, would come back in, kind of curve my whole mentality or attitude on my outlook of life and things, and how to be more accepting of people from, it doesn't matter where. I mean, because it came to, I was like, I don't know their story. I don't know where they came from, what happened to them, if anything. So that whole thing is like, do not judge other people, you know what I'm saying, unless you be judged yourself. Kind of, it's like, whoa. The things and stories that I learned in the church that I wasn't paying any attention to started to come back, you know, and now that makes sense now. That makes sense now. And I'm still kind of looking at it from a person that, a non-believer, as a kind of point of view on things. And I started to realize, it's like, you know, why do people have such a big, huge thing about church? Anywhere from the Salem, you know what I'm saying, witchcraft and everything like that. And then the Bible, it says that, it doesn't say that it's not true. It just says just don't get involved in it, because it's like we don't know anything about it. You know, we can do it, if we're quote unquote able to do it, we're able to do things, whatever it is, but we don't know, you know, maybe the severity or how in depth it can go, or or if anything.
Yeah,
you know?
there is a kind of a fascination with, spirituality, mysticism. Is there something else out there? Is a God? Is there not a God? Is there something more than us?
Yeah.
And so I think, religion, Christianity, it's like there's this kind of like, oh, that for some people makes sense, and it gives people hope that there is something more to it than just this.
There has to be. I think there is. There just has to be. I think that as growing up, the life was innocent. It was fun. It was whatever. Now I feel like I'm on the biggest stage of my life. And I look at things differently now. I see things differently now. There's a phrase that comes out that plays is, the end is the beginning, and the beginning is the end. And in the Bible it says all things is already known and completed, whatever it is. And so I'm starting to think, like, how is that possible? So it's like we went through life and then we are going back and doing it all over again. And so I come up with these theses or these theories that I might have, but I can't stand firm on them. I can't, because I stand firm on the fact that what do we really know? We don't. Somebody can say something, but it's like, do we really know that? No, we've done things and come up with terms or things or whatever it is that we understand to help us move or past a certain point.
To kind of make sense of the world.
Right. And then that's it. So, but that just comes to us. That's all that we know for us. And so it's just kind of mind blowing about certain things. And if you look at like TV shows and music or whatever it is, there's a show that used to come on named Our Star Blazers. And, it's like we're off to outer space to save the human race. And it's kind of like, and that show came on way early on. It's like, did this already happen? That we already had all this information technology. We already did something, and then we found something, and then we came back, and now we're trying to go back and do it all over again, fix some of the mistakes and change things. And then that's when the Mandela effect comes in, to play. And then it's just kind of, my mind, if I let my mind go on it, it can go crazy. It's not crazy, but for lack of a better, it can go.
It could drive you mad.
It can go all over, to many different places. So I call it, I learned this in class about reeling it back, reeling it in. And that's kind of just taking that line and, saying, let it go out a little bit, but I got to reel it back, kind of.
Those thoughts, you're talking about those thoughts.
Bring it back, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dial it back to where, you're at to the now.
Gotcha.
And so that way you don't get too carried away on so many things and so I found that like things that we hear can become seeds that be planted in our, what I'm saying, and whether they can be planted, but do we choose to water them and feed them? And that's giving the time and attention and thoughts to certain things. And then you got to look at what kind of ground they were rooted into, and how are they going to grow. And so there's some things that I just choose not to feed into too much, and it's not because I want to be stubborn or ignorant or, I just know that it could take me to some places that could not, could be bad.
I'm curious, is it, you don't have to let me know, but is there fear of like it's going to just kind of, I don't know, the word that I want to say is rot your brain a little bit, or just kind of?
No, it's fears. I remember thinking about this, and it's like they said that you have nothing to fear but fear itself. And so, why is fear fearful? Is fear fearful because the unknown? It doesn't want to have what what it has is lost, and there's that fear because pretty much they don't know what fear is going to. Fear doesn't know what fear is going to be. What it's going to be like, when it's just him, or if that gets taken away. And so that's something, like you said, that even that phrase right there, you can go and just think about that. Yeah. And so reading between the lines on things a lot. I feel like there's a lot that I'm skipping over. There's so much that, I've done a lot of time to sit there and really try to apply myself out there to different people, different walks of life, you know.
You finished college?
I finished, yeah, I got my degree, you know what I'm saying? But it's just,
You got that piece of paper.
yeah. And so, but even that wasn't enough.
Where did that, once you got that degree, did you like, I'm going to go be an accountant now? Or?
Nope. I went and the next job I think I had, I worked at a place called Doka, and we built walls for the high rises in downtown Seattle. A lot of the new ones that are going up, whatever. We did the blueprints, red blueprints, so did a lot of carpenter work, doing that. And then I eventually was pushed to a lead. And then I had of the returns department, meaning that everything that was coming back from these sites, I had to make sure that everything was, accounted for, and do some paperwork on that. And if not, then file a form or petition to collect any loss inventory that was there. And so became really efficient and good at driving the forklift at my height, and people they would laugh at me because it looks like they said it looked like I was driving a Mario Kart. And sometimes the lighter ones you can get going through fast, you can tip them. And so but it's kind of, my legs would sit above the steering wheel, and so
knees up there.
Exactly. And so, but I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
How long were you in that?
For a few years, yeah. And then homelessness came. I noticed that my job that I started at a temp agency, but there was a certain thing that would not follow me, but just it was there, and I didn't know what it was. It was like I don't know. I can't really. This is where things get really kind of weird, and I say that and I am an addict, so that became the forefront of everything that was going on in my life.
Was it so? Did you? My look on substances, legal or illegal, I could care less. But it's like I look at it as like coping. We're all coping with something.
Yeah.
Some way. But did this start while were you in your job?
No, this started back when I never drank in high school. Really, I just had maybe once. College is when I started I was away from home. But I seemed like I was a sad kid. I'm not a sad kid, but I had depression.
Gotcha.
I was missing something. I felt like, there was something lacking.
Yeah.
I can go back to my childhood, and I can just see things, and
just
there's just something. And so, my parents always encouraged us to get out and do things. Work was important. My dad we had to work. So before I was even of age to work, I was working, worked all through high school. Worked 2 jobs when I was in college. And then, like I said, something happened. It's like, I remember having panic attacks, really bad anxiety, agoraphobia. And then next thing you know, I had to go to the judge to get everything taken care of, where I had to get on SSI, and they say that only 24% of the people that apply for SSI get on SSI.
Was this, you're talking about the transition from working to homelessness?
Yeah, to everything. Like, all this happened before that transition. And so I got on SSI. I remember sitting on the couch moping. I mean, it was bad. It was a bad period in my life. But I still had a roof over my head. And then I remember pushing myself to wanting to go to work again. And so I started doing the comeback thing, and this time I was still using, and managed to get myself off the couch, get off of SSI, making too much money to collect SSI, to being that certain, I don't know what started happening in my life. And I remember talking to my friend about certain things. It's like, this is happening, and he's like, oh, and he knew it right off the bat what it was called. And I was like, what is it called? He said, it's called something that, people want to say, and it is, I even hate saying the word because you're being stalked, or people or somebody's watching you. And it's like, what? So it's like, no. And that's one of the things I couldn't feed that my mind into. I couldn't, that's the next thing you know, that's going to be, paranoia, and it's going to be more anxiety, and the what ifs and the woulda, coulda, shouldas, and everything like that. So I just didn't want to pay any mind, any attention. And then I started to see things started happening like that to other people that were around me. And then I started to wonder if this is like some kind of a community that's doing this thing. Is this?
You're talking about like gang stalking.
Yeah, something like that. So I just didn't know that. I didn't know, and so at work, next it's just things start happening. Messing up on the counts were written down wrong for some odd reason. I would ask people I would delegate, what people did, and I would say, this is the job that nobody wants, I will do. But even the most easiest jobs seemed like weren't being completed, or there's something, the attitudes are really done. And then being almost ran over by a forklift, I remember I was like, I can't take this anymore. I went to my boss and I said, this is happening. I said, what do I do? He went to talk to the individual, and in the very next step is that I would turn around and I would stick up for the individual why I felt like maybe I just wanted you to speak to him, but these are his strong points. And I'm saying, so I'm sitting there like, saying this is happening, not trying to hold a grudge, and then letting him know what his value and his worth was. Just to have the same person come back and, do some more things. And I didn't understand that.
Confusing. Sounds confusing.
It does. It's when I talk about it, I hear it. It just sounds confusing.
Yeah.
But all these things that were happening, I went to counseling for it. I had to go to counseling for that, and they say this is because of your drug use.
Yeah.
I'm just like, so, this is like, how can you argue with that?
Yeah, they're saying it's related.
Yeah, you can't argue. I mean, I can't say that. So. What do I do? Because if things are happening to you and then you can't really necessarily say it is or prove it, does it mean it's not happening?
Yeah, well, it kind of, you have to go, what is real? What is reality?
Well,
and then when you're on certain substances, does reality shift? Does it change?
Right.
Or what happens, Obviously, there's people take psychedelics, and that really shifts someone's reality, right?
Here's a real question right here is that, can I tell you what your reality is like? Can somebody tell me what I see and perceive? What is my reality?
Right. When it really comes down to it, no.
I mean, so then how is the counselor getting their information to sit there and say that what's happening to me isn't actually happening to me?
Well, I guess it's like, I've taken psychedelics before and I've seen things.
Right.
And I go, is this real or is this because of the psychedelics?
You're talking about the dancing chipmunk that's floating, you know what I'm saying? Well, when the psychedelics wear off, you get the...
But then you kind of come back to, I think this is the real reality.
Right.
But something we can agree on is, you're sitting here, I'm standing here, we're talking, having a conversation, we're communicating. So there's some realities we can agree on. But like you said, when it comes down to it,
for now.
Yeah.
For now,
you don't know what I'm really thinking. I don't know what you're really thinking.
No, but I've
doing
had
our best.
Instances where I've sat there and I've hear myself singing, I know what song it is, to when I go back and play that recording again, what was being sang wasn't on that recording. And so that was really mind-boggling. I remember telling my mom, certain things like, hey mom, like, what is going on? I mean, I asked her the question, and I mean, it just got really, really difficult and tough and confusing for me. I didn't understand it. And so, and I don't know if I ever will, necessarily. And so, but I have to keep moving on. Yeah. I have to take accountability at the same time. And the only thing that I know for sure that was done is my actions. So that's all I can really take accountability for. I can't point my finger too much at anybody else, so.
Well, Daz, what was the transition of, you lost your apartment at one point?
Well, my apartment, but it's more like a relationships and things that were going on, and so um, I had to try to find a new kind of happiness, and um, yeah, that's just it, and that's like feeling another a void, what I'm saying, that something you're used to, is more difficult. So I would often wonder why I would keep, friends or people around so often, so long, and it's just, I don't, and I told somebody this too, I really didn't like change too much. And so I said, I'd rather have a person be who they are really genuinely. Like, if you're mean, just be mean. I mean, like, so I know what to expect if I see you, what I'm saying, or we come across each other, your behavior and who we are is expected. And like, I know how to walk away from it or, you know, um, deflect, what I'm saying, or whatever it is. And so that became a way of my thinking, and, part of my thinking and stuff like that. And it just seemed like that wasn't, it was frowned upon. So then I felt like more things started coming on, and I'm just like, hey, well, I'm using less these days now, but everything's getting worse that's around me. And so that's kind of scary, and I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything. I get that. And things are getting worse. I mean, and so the random encounters on certain things, I would ask people, say, can I just ask you a question? Like, and I would ask them, I say, well, why would you say that for? I mean, and I wouldn't get an answer. And then I was like, okay. So then I started to think that I watched some movies or whatever about people interacting with people that aren't there. And they would sit there and they would video record the whole thing, and they would delete the person that they're speaking with out of the whole scene. So it looked like the person was sitting there talking to themselves. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I could see somebody doing that. And they would have maybe an issue or maybe a problem with me. If they feel that I'm a threat, or if I feel like I'm going to do something or I did something, whatever it is, then, they would want me to make me out to look like a particular way. That's the first thing that comes to my mind, and that's the bad thing. The other thing, though, is on the flip side. What if they're actually doing something to actually help me? And that's something that's there too. But who knows? Yeah. That's why I'm saying, what do I really know?
Yeah, that comes back to that. What is real?
What is real?
Well, I'm curious. Like, how long you been outside?
3 years.
So 3 years ago.
At 45, I chose to be homeless.
So, it's an interesting choice of words you chose.
I chose to be homeless.
Tell me more about that.
I chose to.
Who chooses homelessness?
My actions.
Tell me more.
Because living in the house that I was living in and everything that was going on became too stressful and too chaotic, too hectic for me. That. Yeah, I just didn't want to spend another day in the house, with everything that had been going on, and I still try to keep relations with my roommates that I had, but it just was becoming too much, and I found myself getting more, wanting to get more into the drug world, and less into the working world, and all that kind of stuff like that. I thought about maybe going back to church and stuff, and then that didn't happen. So yeah, things just kind of got really, it became too much. And then I came up to Seattle. I got an interesting guy came in. It's at the gas station. There was something on Spanaway on 99 and towards the Mountain View Road, and I remember just getting gas, and I think I maybe even borrowed the money to get gas. And a guy comes up and he hands me a Bible, a phone, crowbar, and all these things like this, and just told me something. And it really it's kind of woke, that kind of like set me out of it. And like, what? I remember calling the police, and they told me, I said, I don't know what's going on. I said, but he said this is what he has. He had all the things. I kept him, you know what I'm saying, to give to the police or whatever it is. And to make a long story short, you know, wanted to know if my children were fine. Just, I hadn't heard from them in a little bit. Some things, you know, things got really kind of weird. This was hitting really close to home now, the bizarreness. And it just, I didn't want any of this to get back to the home life, you know what I'm saying, to my folks, my parents, or whatever it is to me, because once again, this is just, you know, me having delusions of sort. So, you know, like, but these ones were real to me. And I remember my brother sitting there saying to a significant other of mine at the time, it's like, you know, remember, these things are real to him. And I didn't know what that, like, why is he saying that for? Why is he saying it to her like that? Like, these two don't ever really talk. You know? I said, so, like, what's, you know, that's gonna, and it's kind of scary. It's like, is there something that's going on? Like, you know, like, do you guys, I mean,
Yeah,
I
again,
didn't,
what's reality?
yeah, I mean, I know what reality is.
Well, with this gentleman at the gas station, did that really happen?
Yeah.
And everyone's, and I'm curious too, what did this guy say?
Nothing. He just had these things, and he just the items that he had given me, and it was on what was on the photo picture of the phone, and it wasn't his phone, you know, and so I was like, why are you giving me these things for? Like, who are you? He gave his name, and it's like, okay.
But enough for you to
Yeah,
be freaked out and call the police.
Yeah, definitely freak out.
Yeah.
And then they did a wellness check. When they did a wellness check
On you.
I did a wellness check on her.
Oh, this person was a she?
Yeah, I called the police on, and then
Okay,
I
gotcha.
met a police officer there, and went back. He came back down, told me to, you know, I should probably leave, that I'm being a particular way or whatever it is. I'm just like, hold a sec, this is a wellness check. I said, you guys are here with a wellness check. That means that, you know, this is okay. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You guys are here to be mediators or whatever it is. I gave you all the information. Here's all the whatever it is that's going on. I said, I'm confused. And he said, sir, if you don't leave, we're gonna have, and it's like 5 more officers came, you know, come. I was like, I'm not even doing anything. Yeah, I said, you know, I asked you to do this, and next you know, more officers come. And it's kind of like, this is scary. Like, well, I don't even know what's going on. I was like, am I being, is this a joke? You know, and it was, you know, and I said, can you tell me, you know, is everything fine? Because this is kind of weird to me. And they made it seem like I was making this up in my head. And then I said to them, I said, okay, well then if you can't do your job, you know, and let me know if things are okay, if things are fine, then I said, then I'm gonna come and knock on the door, or knock and do that, whatever it is, if all these things are being said about me or done about me, whatever it is, because I don't understand it. You know, I said, and it's just like, you don't have to make me look like I'm some kind of a, I don't know, memory loss patient or something like this or whatever it is. And it's just things just got really bad. And so I'm sitting there thinking, like, after that, I was like, how many people are they doing this to? You know, if this is happening to me. And so it became scary, you know, and so, and I, you know, like right now it's kind of, I got like a smile on my face, like, cause it's like, I'm in disbelief that this is happening. You know, it's kind of like, this is it's surreal almost. And so it sounds crazy. This sounds like, I don't even know, out of the Twilight Zone or something, you know? And so it's pretty scary.
Yeah. So
It's
living
really-
in this place of,
Right.
you don't quite know.
I don't know what it is. If it's like, if you're coming or you're going, it's like, it's just some kind of new technology that, you know, or what, you just don't, you just don't know.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, gravity, you know, staying rooted.
But what about this right now, you and I?
Me sitting here talking about it
Yeah.
with a camera in front of me.
Yeah.
This is definitely no number. No, this is something that I'm not for. I mean, because the words and things that we say can actually harm us more if we don't know what's going on and everything like that. The worst thing I probably could do is probably sit here in front of me, and do this, because I don't know if you're for me or against me, when it comes to it. And you could be against me, and these words can be changed and altered in any kind of way to incriminate or to make things look worse.
But like we said earlier, on the other hand, could be used for good.
It could be,
And that's my
right.
angle.
Right. But in the world that we live in, where bad happens on a way larger, scale than the good.
Yeah.
So.
Well, how long have you been in Ballard?
I've been in Ballard, pretty much almost the whole time. When I came up here, I met a guy, and he sat there, and I went to his little place where he was living, and on the wall there was a picture. And this is like another flag right here, and it's like a picture of a woman and a child, and it's like, hey. The child even had the same like onesie I kind of was wearing, and I was like, that looks like a picture that was taken. And I stopped, and then I was like, what's going on? Like, seriously, and I was asking these questions, and he said, they might need you, or the streets need you maybe to be an advocate for him. I said, me? Why me? I said, why? What's going on? Like, seriously, this seems like a story, or whatever it is. And so, and then I started to think about this. I think some years back, I was just walking, and it just hit me that I needed to write a story. And I was like, what? And then the name of the story is going to be called I'm Crazy, Thank God. And I did not understand what was going on with that, or whether that makes any sense in any place or, anywhere. And pretty much what the gist of it is going to be is that a person that's misunderstood, that doesn't know what really is going on, and thought maybe he's going crazy or whatever it is actually being drawn closer to something else greater, and and so it's like, and it's through that becomes a saving grace, and so, and then that, based off of what we talked about earlier, is like the things that we don't know, we didn't do much about. That's what scares me, is the unknown.
Yeah.
And so there's a scripture, Jeremiah 29:11. I further know the thoughts that I have you towards, to say the Lord, good, or for evil and not good, or for good and not evil. And when you look for me with your whole heart, I'm paraphrasing it, you'll find me. And so that became a part of it.
Is there some little bit of faith still in there?
Oh, never lose faith.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I have faith. If things don't come to even pass on what happens, I always will have faith.
Gotcha.
I mean, I have to. So it's like saying, I have hope.
Yeah.
I mean, what's a hopeless world? I mean, what's a hopeless place?
Yeah. Did you mention you had kids?
I do, but I just don't. I want to leave them out of it.
You got it.
So
Well, one last question before we wrap up, Daz. Is there anything that you want to say to the people of Seattle?
Keeps on coming to my mind is that Who are you? What do you stand for? And what's your purpose? You know? So, that's it.
Thanks for your time, man. Appreciate it.
Right.
It's good to hear your voice.
Mhm.
All right. Grab that little mic. I appreciate it.
Okay, yeah.